Ronnie Coleman won 8 consecutive Mr. Olympia titles from 1998 to 2005, a record matched only by Haney. His dominance was based on unprecedented levels of muscle mass combined with detailed conditioning and symmetry. Coleman routinely competed at 295 pounds on stage and exceeded 315 pounds in the off-season, requiring extreme caloric intake and high-volume training output. His training methodology centered on progressive overload, which involves continually increasing resistance to stimulate muscle growth. Coleman frequently used compound lifts such as squats, deadlifts, and bench presses with weights exceeding 700 pounds, producing significant muscular and neurological adaptation. Coleman's physique was characterized by dense muscle fiber development, high lat width, and deep separation in muscle groups such as quadriceps and back. Judges evaluated mass, symmetry, and definition, and Coleman consistently scored high in all categories due to balanced proportions and extreme muscular density. His back development, measured by lat thickness, spinal erector density, and trapezius mass, is widely documented as among the best in bodybuilding history. Additionally, his legs displayed striations and separation that indicated low body fat and high muscle maturity. Coleman maintained low body fat through carbohydrate manipulation, thermogenic strategies, and high-intensity lifting, which increased metabolic output. These combined factors established a standard of size and conditioning that redefined competitive expectations in professional bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger won 7 Mr. Olympia titles between 1970 and 1980, establishing one of the earliest and most influential standards for modern bodybuilding. His physique emphasized broad shoulders, a narrow waist, full chest development, and pronounced biceps peaks. These characteristics created what judges called the V-taper, a core criterion in assessing symmetry and proportion. Schwarzenegger typically competed around 235 to 240 pounds at a height of 6.2, giving him stage presence unmatched during his era. Arnold trained using a high-volume methodology, often completing 20 to 30 sets per muscle group, which promoted increased blood flow and muscular endurance. His chest routine included heavy bench presses and fly variations that contributed to the deep pectoral thickness seen in competition photos from the 1970s. His arm development relied heavily on barbell curls, concentration curls, and triceps extensions, all executed with controlled tempo to maximize contraction. Schwarzenegger's back development was advanced for the time, using wide grip pull-ups, T-bar rows, and deadlifts to create lat spread width and lower back detail. His posing routines applied classical aesthetics, using transitions and vacuum poses to highlight symmetry. The vacuum pose, involving abdominal contraction to reduce waist size, increased the visual taper between shoulders and hips. Arnold's consistency in presentation, muscle fullness, and balanced proportions allowed him to dominate multiple competitive eras and define the judging criteria still used today. Haney won 8 consecutive Mr. Olympia titles from 1984 to 1991, tying Ronnie Coleman for the most victories in the competition's history. Haney's physique emphasized mass combined with symmetry, marking a transition from the aesthetic-focused physiques of the 1970s to the larger builds of the 1990s. He typically competed at 245 to 255 pounds at a height of 5'11", creating a balanced structure with wide shoulders and a narrow waist. This combination established the benchmark for proportional mass. Haney employed a training philosophy known as stimulate, don't annihilate, which focused on controlled progression rather than maximal overload. His back training was a defining feature, incorporating wide grip pull-downs, barbell rows, and deadlifts. These movements developed lat width, thickness, and spinal erector detail. His back development remains one of the most referenced examples in judging criteria for posterior dominance. Haney's chest was built using heavy pressing movements such as incline and flat barbell presses, contributing to upper chest fullness and sternum to shoulder density. His leg development relied on squats and leg presses, favoring overall shape and sweep rather than extreme size. Nutritionally, he used high-calorie intake balanced with carbohydrate cycling to maintain muscle fullness while reducing body fat before competition. Haney's ability to maintain symmetry while increasing mass influenced all subsequent Olympia champions, establishing structural balance as a mandatory standard in modern bodybuilding evaluation. Dorian Yates won 6 Mr. Olympia titles from 1992 to 1997, initiating the modern mass monster era. His competitive weight ranged from 255 to 265 pounds on stage and exceeded 290 pounds in the offseason. Yates is recognized for introducing high-intensity training to elite bodybuilding. HIIT focuses on low training volume with maximum effort, using one all-out working set per exercise after several warm-up sets. This method produces deep muscular fatigue and stimulates hypertrophy with limited total repetitions. Yates's back development became the defining attribute of his physique. He used heavy barbell rows, underhand rows, and high-intensity pull-down variations to target lat width and thickness. His back displayed unprecedented density in the lower lats, rhomboids, and spinal erectors, creating the posterior dominance that became a judging requirement in later Olympias. His calves, hamstrings, and deltoids also showed advanced separation due to precise workload distribution and strict execution. Conditioning was achieved through structured carbohydrate tapering and controlled aerobic training. Yates maintained extremely low body fat, often measured below 5%, while preserving muscle volume. His contest preparation used progressive overload with increased resistance until peak week, when training intensity was reduced to allow recovery. Yates's combination of mass, density, and conditioning redefined the expected proportions of Mr. Olympia competitors and shifted the competitive landscape toward larger physiques with greater muscular detail. Heath won 7 Mr. Olympia titles from 2011 to 2017, matching Arnold Schwarzenegger's total and establishing the most dominant run of the 2010s. Heath's physique was defined by round, three-dimensional muscle bellies, a trait stemming from high muscle fiber density and efficient sarcoplasmic expansion. His competitive weight ranged from 240–250 pounds at a height of 5'9", producing a compact structure with significant fullness in the deltoids, arms, and chest. Judges consistently awarded him high scores for muscle separation, symmetry, and detailed conditioning. Heath's training approach blended moderate to high volume with controlled tempo, emphasizing the contraction phase of each movement. Exercises such as incline dumbbell presses, cable flies, and preacher curls created continuous tension, which contributed to the rounded appearance of his muscles. His arm development, including biceps peaks and triceps thickness, became one of the defining features of his physique. The brachialis and triceps lateral head played a major role in his 3D arm profile. Conditioning was achieved through carbohydrate manipulation and precise loading protocols, enabling him to maintain low water retention while preserving muscle fullness. Heath's back displayed high detail, especially in the lower lat insertions and mid-trap region, due to repeated pull-down variations and rowing movements. His structural balance, density, and separation allowed him to dominate for 7 consecutive years. Cutler won 4 Mr. Olympia titles in 2006, 2007, 2009, and 2010, becoming one of the only bodybuilders in history to regain the title after losing it. Cutler competed at weights ranging from 260–270 pounds on stage and over 290 pounds in the off-season, creating a physique defined by width, fullness, and quadrant-level muscular separation. His deltoids and quadriceps were especially notable, with the quadriceps showing pronounced outer sweep and visible striations during competition. Cutler trained using high-volume routines, completing multiple exercises and sets per muscle group. His leg development was built through movements such as squats, leg presses exceeding 1,000 pounds, and step-up variations that targeted the vastus lateralis and rectus femoris. His back development relied on wide grip pull-downs, barbell rows, and machine variations designed to improve lat width and upper back thickness. These movements emphasized controlled contractions to maximize muscle recruitment. Cutler's contest preparation involved carbohydrate cycling and gradual reduction of water intake, creating a full but dry appearance. He consistently presented a balanced structure with wide clavicles and a relatively narrow waist, contributing to a strong V-taper. His rivalry with Ronnie Coleman significantly influenced the sport, as judges began prioritizing both mass and shape rather than mass alone. Cutler's combination of size, proportion, and conditioning enabled him to remain a dominant figure throughout the 2000s. Flex Wheeler is widely regarded as one of the most structurally gifted bodybuilders in history, despite never winning the Mr. Olympia title. His prime competitive years spanned the 1990s, where he earned multiple Arnold Classic victories and consistent top Olympia placings. Wheeler typically competed at 225 to 235 pounds at a height of 5'9", producing an aesthetic structure characterized by small joints, round muscle bellies, and a pronounced V-taper. His physique emphasized proportion and flow, traits that judges highlighted as near-ideal symmetry. Wheeler's training was based on moderate to high volume with strict form and controlled movement patterns. He focused on continuous tension, especially during arm and shoulder exercises, which contributed to his rounded deltoids and peaked biceps. His back development included wide grip pull-ups, T-bar rows, and cable pull-downs executed with precise tempo, creating balanced width and mid-back density without excessive mass. His legs displayed sweep and separation, developed primarily through hack squats, leg presses, and isolation movements that reduced hip involvement. Wheeler's conditioning methods included carbohydrate manipulation and gradual water reduction, enabling detailed separation in his arms, shoulders, and quadriceps. His vacuum control and narrow waist enhanced symmetry during mandatory poses, such as the front double biceps and side chest. Flex Wheeler's physique became a reference model for proportional aesthetics, influencing judging standards and athlete expectations across the 1990s and early 2000s. Kevin Levrone competed primarily throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, earning 23 IFBB Pro wins and multiple top finishes at the Mr. Olympia, including several second-place standings. Levrone typically competed at 240 to 250 pounds and was known for rapid muscular development, often entering contest preparation with significant size reductions and rebuilding lost mass within weeks. This ability indicated highly responsive muscle fibers and efficient protein synthesis rates. Levrone's deltoid and triceps development were key features of his physique. He used heavy overhead presses, lateral raises, and close-grip bench presses to emphasize shoulder width and arm thickness. His triceps displayed pronounced lateral and long head separation, enhancing arm dominance during side chest and most muscular poses. His chest training incorporated incline barbell presses, dips, and fly variations, contributing to his dense upper chest structure. His back development included barbell rows, T-bar, rows, and pull-down variations executed with explosive concentric phases. These movements targeted mid-trap, lat, and rhomboid regions, improving overall upper body balance. Leg training for Levrone varied across his career due to injury considerations, but he employed squats, leg presses, and hamstring curls to maintain shape and sweep when preparing for major events. Levrone's contest preparation relied on carbohydrate cycling and controlled sodium modification to achieve sharp conditioning. His combination of round muscle bellies, striking shoulder width, and peak week improvements made him one of the most competitive athletes of the 1990s. Shawn Ray competed at the highest level for more than 13 consecutive Mr. Olympia contests, finishing in the top 5 12 times, a record of consistency unmatched in the sport. He typically competed at 205 to 215 pounds at a height of 5'7", emphasizing proportion, symmetry, and detailed conditioning rather than extreme mass. His physique featured balanced development across all major muscle groups, making him a reference standard for structural harmony. Ray's training style centered on controlled, moderate volume routines that emphasized form and consistent tension. His chest development relied on incline presses, dumbbell flies, and machine presses executed with slow eccentrics to increase muscle fiber recruitment. His deltoids and arms displayed rounded muscle bellies created through isolation work such as lateral raises, cable extensions, and concentration curls. These exercises improved separation and shape, particularly in front double biceps and side pose comparisons. His back training incorporated wide grip pull-downs, bent-over rows, and hyperextensions, focusing on maintaining width without excessive thickness that could disrupt symmetry. Ray's leg development included squats, lunges, and leg curls executed with strict alignment to enhance quadriceps sweep and hamstring detail. Ray's contest conditioning was achieved through precise macronutrient control, strategic carbohydrate depletion and loading, and steady cardiovascular output. He maintained low body fat while preserving muscle fullness, producing a consistent stage appearance. His physique became a template for symmetry-focused bodybuilding in the 1990s. Frank Zane won 3 Mr. Olympia titles from 1977 to 1979, establishing the highest standard for aesthetic bodybuilding during the late 1970s. Competing at 185 to 195 pounds at a height of 5'9", Zane demonstrated that proportional development, symmetry, and conditioning could outperform heavier competitors. His physique emphasized narrow waist structure, wide clavicles, controlled vacuum poses, and precise muscular definition. These characteristics created an ideal V-taper that became central to his judging success. Zane's training approach focused on moderate weights with high precision. He included dumbbell flies, cable crossovers, and incline presses to enhance chest shape while maintaining detail. His arm training relied on concentration curls, rope extensions, and preacher variations to isolate the biceps and triceps, producing clean lines rather than extreme mass. Zane also integrated controlled abdominal training and vacuum practice, which improved waist tightness and midsection presentation. Back development came from strict pull-downs, seated rows, and pullover machines that targeted lateral spread without excessive thickness that could distort symmetry. His leg training consisted of hack squats, leg extensions, and stiff leg deadlifts performed with strict tempo to enhance separation. Zane's conditioning was based on calculated caloric reduction, electrolyte management, and carbohydrate manipulation that enabled detailed muscular definition. His physique remains a benchmark for classical proportions, and his 1970s victories reinforced aesthetics and balance as essential bodybuilding criteria. Franco Columbu won the Mr. Olympia title twice, in 1976 and 1981, and became known for combining exceptional muscular density with competitive strength levels. Standing 5'5" and competing at 185 to 195 pounds, Columbu displayed compact proportions with thick chest development, dense back musculature, and advanced arm detail. His structure emphasized power-oriented muscle groups, resulting in a physique that excelled in poses requiring mass and hardness rather than width alone. Columbu's training relied heavily on strength-based movements, such as bench presses, deadlifts, and heavy rows. He achieved a recorded deadlift of over 700 pounds, demonstrating the functional strength underlying his muscular development. His chest was a defining feature, built through incline and flat bench presses with controlled negatives to increase fiber recruitment. His back development included T-bar rows, pull-ups, and stiff leg deadlifts, contributing to spinal erector density and lower lat thickness. Arm training focused on barbell curls, hammer curls, and triceps extensions executed with strict form to maximize contraction. His leg training included squats and lunges, but due to structural considerations, he emphasized posterior chain movements to maintain balance. Columbu's conditioning involved moderate carbohydrate manipulation and steady cardiovascular training, producing muscle hardness and low body fat. His combination of strength, density, and compact muscularity made him one of the most powerful and structurally unique champions in bodybuilding history. Marcus Rule became one of the most recognized mass monster bodybuilders of the late 1990s and early 2000s, earning a reputation for extreme size and upper body density. Competing at 275 to 290 pounds on stage and exceeding 320 pounds in the off-season, Rule displayed some of the largest deltoids and chest development ever recorded in professional bodybuilding. His structure emphasized shoulder width, upper chest mass, and thick arm musculature, creating a dominant front double biceps and most muscular pose presentation. Rule's training relied heavily on high-volume, heavy-load routines. His shoulder program included seated dumbbell presses, lateral raises, and upright rows executed at high intensity, contributing to his unusually large medial deltoid bellies. His chest development was built through incline pressing, flat pressing, and machine-based overload, producing significant pectoral thickness and visible striations during competition. His arm training emphasized mass through barbell curls, skull crushers, and cable variations that provided continuous tension. Back development included heavy barbell rows, pull-downs, and machine rows designed to increase overall thickness rather than width. His leg training consisted of squats, leg presses, and lunges, focusing on total mass rather than aesthetic taper. Rule's conditioning varied throughout his career, but during peak years, he achieved low body fat through strict dieting and controlled water reduction. Rule's physique demonstrated the limits of size-driven bodybuilding and helped define the extreme mass standards of early 2000s IFBB competition. Branch Warren is known for his dense muscularity, grainy conditioning, and high-intensity training style that defined his competitive years throughout the 2000s and early 2010s. Warren displayed extreme muscle hardness, especially in the quadriceps, deltoids, and chest. His physique featured deep striations and thick muscular texture created through heavy compound lifts and controlled eccentric phases. Warren's leg development was one of his defining strengths. He trained with squats, hack squats, and high-volume leg presses that targeted the vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, and rectus femoris. His quadriceps showed pronounced separation, while hamstring development came from stiff leg deadlifts and glute ham raises designed to increase posterior chain density. This created a balanced lower body capable of holding definition even at higher body weight. His upper body training included heavy barbell rows, bench presses, and dumbbell pressing variations. Deltoid development was enhanced through lateral raises and overhead presses executed with explosive force. His back thickness resulted from T-bar rows, seated rows, and weighted pull-ups that emphasized lat and mid-back engagement. Warren's conditioning methods involved low carbohydrate phases, increased cardiovascular output, and precise timing of sodium and water adjustments. These techniques produced the dense, grainy appearance he became known for. His structure and training intensity made him one of the hardest conditioning athletes of his competitive era. Dexter Jackson, known as The Blade, earned the 2008 Mr. Olympia title and holds the record for the most professional bodybuilding wins in IFBB history, with over 29 victories. Competing consistently from the late 1990s through the 2020s, Jackson was recognized for razor-sharp conditioning, balanced proportions, and longevity unmatched in professional bodybuilding. He typically competed at 230 to 235 pounds at a height of 5'6", presenting a dense, compact structure with high muscular detail. Jackson's training approach emphasized precise form, controlled tempo, and moderate volume. His chest development relied on incline presses, machine flies, and dumbbell presses, producing upper chest fullness and defined sternal thickness. His arm training included preacher curls, rope extensions, and dumbbell curls, which enhanced biceps peak and triceps separation, traits visible in front double biceps and most muscular poses. Back development was achieved through wide grip pull-downs, barbell rows, and machine rows targeting lat spread, rear delt tie-ins, and mid-back density. Jackson's legs displayed detailed separation despite not being his heaviest muscle group. Leg presses, split squats, and leg curls allowed him to maintain shape, symmetry, and hamstring detail throughout his career. Jackson's conditioning relied on carbohydrate manipulation, consistent cardiovascular training, and controlled sodium intake. His ability to maintain extremely low body fat while preserving fullness contributed to his reputation for delivering near-identical conditioning year after year. His long competitive lifespan made him one of the most reliable and technically refined athletes in bodybuilding history. Chris Bumstead has dominated the classic physique division with consecutive Olympia victories beginning in 2019, establishing himself as the defining athlete of the modern classic era. Competing at approximately 230 to 240 pounds on stage at a height of 6.1, Bumstead presents a physique centered on classical proportions, wide clavicles, a narrow waist, sweeping quadriceps, and a strong vacuum pose. These traits align with judging standards that emphasize symmetry, flow, and aesthetics over sheer mass. Bumstead's training incorporates a hybrid approach combining moderate volume hypertrophy work with controlled tempo and contraction emphasis. His back development, one of his strongest features, comes from movements such as lat pull-downs, machine rows, and controlled deadlifts that enhance width, lower lat insertion detail, and mid-back density. His chest training includes incline dumbbell presses, cable flies, and machine presses chosen to maintain upper chest fullness without excessive thickness that might disrupt symmetry. Leg development relies on squats, lunges, and leg extension variations to target quadriceps, sweep, and hamstring balance. Bumstead's conditioning strategy includes carbohydrate depletion phases, followed by precise loading to maintain fullness, while keeping body fat extremely low. His vacuum proficiency is achieved through regular diaphragm training, allowing him to reduce midsection size during transitions and mandatory poses. Bumstead's physique meets the IFBB classic physique standard by combining aesthetic structure with modern muscular density, making him the most influential athlete in his division. Mike Mentzer became one of bodybuilding's most influential figures through both his competitive achievements and his development of the heavy-duty training system. He earned the Mr. Olympia heavyweight title in 1979, competing at approximately 205 to 215 pounds at a height of 5'8", and was recognized for dense muscularity, sharp conditioning, and balanced proportions. His structure emphasized thick pectoral development, detailed deltoids, and robust arm musculature, which made his front double biceps and side chest poses highly competitive during the late 1970s. Mentzer's heavy-duty system focused on low-volume, high-intensity training. Instead of multiple sets, he performed one all-out set taken to failure, often followed by forced reps or negatives. This method was designed to maximize muscle fiber recruitment and reduce training frequency, relying on extended recovery periods for growth. His exercises included heavy pressing movements, such as incline barbell presses, dips, and overhead presses that contributed to his chest and shoulder density. Back development came from weighted pull-ups, T-bar rows, and deadlifts executed with strict technique. Mentzer maintained conditioning through controlled caloric intake, emphasizing protein and carbohydrate timing. His posing relied on anatomical precision, highlighting muscle separation and symmetry. Although his competitive career ended early, Mentzer's training theories and physique presentation influenced multiple generations of athletes and reshaped discussions on optimal hypertrophy methods.